Now, something that we need to revise from year 7 to 10 maths is mode, median, and range. So mode is just the most common score, and for a lot of types of research, this is really relevant as to what is a normal thing to occur. The median is the middle score when the scores are arranged smallest to largest. And note, they must be arranged smallest to largest for you to be able to pick out the middle one. Now, there's a few ways you can pick out the middle one. You can line the scores up and then just count in from the edge till you get to the middle. But you can also work a little bit smarter. If you've got a lot of scores, you might not want to do that. Let's say we've got 1 million scores. We're not going to want to go, just a minute, I'll figure out where the middle is. If you've got a certain number of scores, let's call it n, then the median is the n plus 1 over 2 score. That sounds a little bit complicated, but let's just have a think about that. Look at your hand. Imagine there's 5 scores, 5 fingers. Do you have a middle finger? Yes, the third one is the middle finger. What about with 4 fingers? Is there a middle one? No, there's not. But if you wanted to find the middle of 4 fingers, you'd go past 2 fingers and you'd say it's halfway between the second and the third finger. So if you've got an odd number of scores, there will be a middle one. With 5, add 1, 6, divide by 2, you get 3. And sure enough, the middle of 5 scores is the third score. So let's say another odd number, you've got 21 scores, say. Then add 1, you get 22. Divide by 2, you get 11. The 11th score will be the middle one. But if you've got an odd number of scores, this method works just as well. 4 scores, add 1, you get 5. Divide by 2, you get 2.5. And sure enough, halfway along 4 scores is halfway between the second and the third. Now, to find the 2.5 score, find the second score, find the third score, and average them. Now, the range is the highest score minus the lowest score. That's quite straightforward. It just tells you where all your scores lie. So let's look at a quick example. Let's imagine I've taken 9 people in the class and I've said, how many pets do you have at home? And they've given me these answers. I just went around the room and asked, and these are the answers I got. Now, can I pick the most common score from this? I can. Can I pick the median? Well, not yet. I need to line them up in order. And it turns out that lining them up in order is also a good way to spot the most common one because it puts the ones that are the same as each other together. So let's first sort them out. Cross them off as you use them. There are 3 ones. 1, 1, 1. And there's 3 2s. There's 1 3, and there's a 5. Then double check that you've got the right number of scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure you haven't forgotten anybody. Now, to find the most common one, I can see that there's 3 1s, but there's also 3 2s. So we've got 2 modes here. And in fact, you can have a set of scores that is bimodal. In other words, there are 2 modes. I'd say here the mode is 1 and 2. To find the median, I could count in from the edges and go here, 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 and here, and find that this is the middle one. But I also could say 9 plus 1 is 10, halve it is 5. So I want the 5th score. And that makes sense that you're thinking through if there's an odd number of scores, there will be a middle one. Then you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's this one. So the median of this set of numbers is 2. Now you'll notice that the median doesn't change when you have a large outlier. And that's why it's often a really good measure of what's normal or what's around the middle of your set of scores. Next time we'll be looking at mean, which is average. And average is also a pretty good measure of what's around the middle, but it's so affected by outliers. For example, if I've just asked the people in our class how many pets they have, and I get these answers, 2 would be the median. But what if one of the kids lives on a farm and says, oh, I have 500 pets? All right, now we've got one massive score that's clearly an outlier. Would the median change if this person had 500 instead of 5? No, it wouldn't. The middle score is still going to be 2. So outliers don't affect median the same way that averages do. If I took the average of this set of numbers, then I'd be saying that on average everybody has a certain number of pets. That was quite unrealistic and really not very closely in line with how many pets most of the kids had. The range of this set of numbers, we'll go back to saying we've got 5 here, is 5 minus 0. So the range would be 5.